I think the Middle Sister is a more challenging objective than K2 because of the technical difficulties and the kind of complexities of the Canadian winter. I mean, it's far more difficult terrain to get yourself up than K2, and witness the fact of the number of climbers who have succeeded on K2 on all sides, on all routes, yet no one succeeded on the north face of the Middle Sister.
Up there on the mountain, we're dead if we don't work together. We've both got to pull our own weight, think and work as one. We're going to need perfect synchronicity, crackerjack timing, more than a little mojo. We're going to have to be as one.
Teamwork is key. There is no I in team.
Yeah. We've got a cameraman along to try and capture the times when Jeff and I are going to be too busy to do anything but push up another inch.
We're hoping that this film is going to inspire people, motivate them.
It's about dreams.
It's about the impossible.
The extreme impossible.
When we pull this off, this is going to stand as a test piece for the climbing community. I mean, the spiritual atonement, the physical harshness, the suffering. I mean, it's going to be a big reward when we're done.
We're going to be famous.
Yeah.
Of course, a crucial aspect to any expedition these days is the internet access for our sponsors and supporters. Luckily, we have a technical expert along, and we're going to try and get it onto our website, www.sisterextreme.com.
It's really important for climbers like Rex and Jeff to have a web presence. It actually will force them to perform. You know, I think otherwise, how else will they get motivated to get up this thing?
Well, it looks like we've got a pretty serious problem here. Jeff has lost the W key off the keyboard, so we can't get onto the internet. But that's okay, because Rexall did not have this technology, and we don't need it either. We're going to keep going. But let me tell you, there's a lot of disappointed school kids in Exshaw and Chicago right now. You know, this has a real sense of history to it. This is probably the same ridge line and same path through the trees that my grandfather Rexall took on his summit push, and just the thought of that these trees were seedlings then, it's overwhelming. It's really mystical, really powerful, really spiritual.
We are really quite fortunate to have discovered his journals, and there are several volumes of them. And from this, we begin to understand some of Rexall's quite extraordinary accomplishments. And these accomplishments have not been recorded in the literature and history of Canadian mountaineering, and they certainly deserve to be. He made the first ascent of Mount Wilma in the Fearsome Range. He made the first pre-gondola ascent of Sulphur Mountain, and that's the main peak of Sulphur, not that little knob that Norman Sanson climbed. And he also did a remarkable unacknowledged ascent of Mount Alberta in an hour and a half. And because he didn't leave the ice axe on the summit, the Japanese didn't realize that he had actually made the first ascent of that mountain, and the first solo ascent, and the first ascent without Red Bull. But always he had in his mind that he wanted to do the Middle Sister. That, indeed, was what haunted his dreams. He imagined himself to be on that summit, and that would be the glory and the high peak of his entire mountaineering career. It was also important to him to be able to do it in winter, because he recognized the difficulties in the Himalayas and the cold and high altitude. These things were central to the heroic effort that the British made. And for the British, of course, they liked to go out and hurt themselves while climbing. For them, a stiff upper lip was usually a frozen one. The Dutch, however, felt differently about this and decided that a winter ascent should be done very quickly in fine dance style, and that's exactly what Rexall set out to do in October of 1927. The events of the day when Rexall disappeared are unclear. What we have is an article written, a front page story in the Cragun Canyon written after the accident and disappearance. There is one very important historical photograph that is left to us from this ascent. And it was taken by Annie from her deck in Canmore. And in this photograph we see Rexall pointing upward to the two-step. We know from this picture his sense of profound achievement, his extreme sense of place is obvious in the photograph. And after this photograph was taken, the clouds came in. He disappeared, obscured and lost to the mists of time.
We think it might snow. You know, nothing new. This is just like Amid Blam 96, and you know, so we're heading up, and yeah, this is winter in the Canadian Rockies.
You know, when you train, a lot of times you don't remember to keep your focus, but it's all paying off now. We're really getting in and amongst. I just hope Rexall is feeling as strong as I'm feeling right now. This is going to be a little bit of mixed climbing. It's my favorite type. Get a little bit of everything. Carry some nuts and some screws just because you never know what you're going to find up there. You can find some slots, some cracks, some crevices, even some little bit of ice, something to put a screw into. It's like the cutting edge of the climbing world right now.
Rex, you can hear the jet stream hitting the summit. Wow.
Holy.
Cool.
Why do people get in trouble on this Middle Sister? Quite a few of them get in trouble because there's a typo in the guidebook. They get the route confused with the Rupal face on Nanga Parbat and wind up taking too much shiny gear up there. Leashless whatever, laceless shoes, and presto, instant disaster.
Yeah, it's always nice to get the harnesses and ropes out, stop carrying them on your back and start doing what you've been trained to do, what you're professional at. It feels really good. Secure! Jeff's moving really good right now. He's such a strong climber. I mean, his technique is absolutely unmatched. I love watching him climb. You're almost there, buddy. A couple more meters. Come on, Jeff.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah, you're in.
Good.
All right, come on up. You want the next lead? Excellent. I'm old school. I don't wear facial gear like that. I like feeling the wind on my face, snow on my nose. That's just the way I was trained back in the Netherlands. Good work, Jeff! Keep going! In these extreme mountain situations, tough conditions, we're really up there beyond rescue, and on first ascents, there's always going to be some concern about the route finding. I wanted to take the direct route. Jeff wanted to go northwest ridge variation. Because of the weather, we think we're just going to put the tent up, sit it out here, recoup our energy, get hydrated, and get ready for our summit push tomorrow. This will be our advanced base camp.